the gravel. Is this potential full course yellow here?
Well, they don't like him to be out there in that gravel, but it's a fairly slow spot. He's not really dangerous. I don't know whether they'll leave him or not. That's, of course, Wally Dallenbach's call. But interesting that Michel Durjain and Salazar, who both come over from Indianapolis where they did so well, have struggled over on this circuit to do well.
And here is that battle for second place as it comes back once again. They get around Eddie Lawson. First, Gildeferin gets around him, and then Christian Fittipaldi. Now Christian has just a little distance to make up, and he should be back on top of DeFerrin. So this is the key battle on the circuit, but you know what? They're going to go to full course yellow.
Yeah.
Pace car will come out, and everyone will gather up. They do this on lap 62, so that should be absolutely ideal for the pit stops, or a little early.
Well, it's going to be marginal because, of course, we've got it. They were going to 31 to 35. This race is 98 laps. So they might not come in on the first lap of the yellow, but they might come in a little bit later.
Robbie Gordon already in as they change. And, of course, no question about what tires are going to go on this time. It'll be slicks all the way. Here comes Gildeferin out of second place.
No question, everybody's going to look down there and look at all the people out there. I think you're going to see a lot of pit stops.
So DeFerrin makes his stop. And Jack Arut's right there.
A nominal stop, but they're standing by should he stall it once they take the fuel on. In answer to your question about whether it's the right window or not, DeFerrin's team had anticipated coming in on lap 66. He pulled out nicely in front of Christian Fittipaldi, so by our reckoning, he should stay right at the front of the pack.
Yeah, those positions shouldn't change. Here's the leader of the race, Gary.
Well, they weren't worried about the window. They said their window here opened on lap 62, so they should be comfortable for the distance. And he had the luxury, of course, of that big lead. But now for the first time today, we're going to see this new IndyCar rule go into effect. This is a very fine stop by the Targa team. Zanardi back out. But that big lead is going to be gone when we get ready to go green.
Now, 60-mile-an-hour speed limit on all races except the ones run at Michigan now. As Zanardi comes back onto the course, he'll have to line up behind the pace car. And what they are doing now, they did it first in Detroit 2 weeks ago and will continue here today. And you can see him trying to get Michel's car out of that gravel pit. They will line up in race order. In fact, it's very simple the way they do it. They just tell the teams, take a look at your scoring monitor in the pits and radio your cars to align that way. So when they come back, the green, they will be in the race order. Should make for a good fight.
This Ford Fact is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealers. Have you driven a Ford lately? In this age of computer technology, just about everything that moves on an Indy car is tracked by a computer. Around this chassis, there's over 20 different sensors to track exactly what happens on the racetrack. A few examples: a tube to measure the airspeed, a sensor on the wheel then to compare that airspeed to wheel speed. The height of the car is actually tracked by a laser sensor to show exactly how high it is off the ground, and then the all-important tire pressure sensor to actually sense the tire pressures of all four tires. Now that information from the front of the car is coupled with the sensors from the rear and from below the seat and fed into this black box. As the car comes into the pits, that information then is downloaded into a portable computer for review by the team. Now here's the big question for 1997. It can cost as much as $100,000 to outfit a car with the latest data acquisition. But in an effort to save money, IndyCar is considering banning some of these systems. Many teams feel, however, that by saving $100,000 on computers, they might spend more money running more test miles to get the same information.
These days, you're working harder than ever. You need a truck that does too.
Don't move.
Introducing the all-new 1997 Ford F-150. With even more horsepower and torque, and all the legendary strength of an F-Series.
Better get to the Grand Canyon before we do.
The all-new Ford F-150.
Target teammates, Alex Zanardi and Jimmy Vasser.
Alex? Hey, there's nobody better. I mean, he was born to drive. I'm new to the Target team, but Jimmy has made me feel right at home. Alex is the fastest thing on four wheels. Really. Words cannot describe how I feel about Jimmy.
Hi, we're not home right now. We just got a new jet ski STS watercraft. We'll call back just as soon as we get home.
The jet ski STS. It's got all the power, handling, and stability a family needs.
It's your mother. How come you never call?
Firehawk, born at Indy, driven everywhere.
Damon Hill takes his commanding driving points lead into the Formula One Grand Prix of France. That's live next Saturday at 7:50 in the morning Eastern Time on ESPN2.
Wave by.
You're kidding me.
Now, Michael Andretti, as we ride on board.
I really screwed up. Son of a bitch.
As Michael Andretti has not had a last couple of laps that have been good. Let me try to indicate what happened. They had Michael, and they told him not to come in. And apparently they thought that he was going to be able to pick up a lap because they thought the leader was coming in. Leader didn't come in. They kept Michael out. And in doing that, then IndyCar officials closed the pits. And so Michael is stuck out there now, and he has not been happy in his conversation with the team pit side. So they really didn't help Michael's cause at all there.
No, and of course when he does do it, he'll have to drop to the back of the pack, and that'll make it much more difficult for him to gain any more of those spots from 12th what he was running.
Now remember, they will come back in race order. Michael was sitting in 11th place at the time. There you go. You look down through the order, and Michael's there now, but of course he's going to have to come in for fuel. He's had this nice run after overcoming the problem early on, works his way back up here, and that's a good example where the tactics between driver and pits can really be very costly to the driver.
Yes, and Michael was actually going down the pit lane, and they said, stay out, and he dove back around the barrier and got back into position.
Now we'll continue to listen to Michael's radio, and the officials are now reporting green this time by, so Michael's going to have to come into the pits under a green flag. So you think he's going to be any happier about that one?
No, and he's going to lose a lot of ground under that.
Can I pit? Can I pit?
Michael Andretti at Portland.
Take the green and then pit. Pit at the end of your first lap.
Michael with some terrible problems now. They're ready to go to green flag racing. He was headed into the pits. The crew steered him out when he thought he should be in. Turns out he was right. And now he's going to have to make a stop from 11th place under the green. They're lined up in race order. Christian Fittipaldi moves to the inside, looks for room as Bobby Rahal comes sweeping in behind Christian. So everybody tight once again. Zanardi using the clear course to get away just a bit. Restart comes on lap 67 of 98.
Paul, everybody should be fueled and ready to go to the end, provided they don't have any problems. The tires, everything, so we should see a race all the way to the end.
And there is the advantage of being the leader on a restart. You can pace the restart the way you want it, and it gives you an advantage for one lap, if not for a couple. Christian Fittipaldi, who had been working on Gilles de Ferran, is now back at it, but this time, with the yellow flag closing the field up, he has both Bobby Rahal and Mark Blundell closing in. So what was not a battle now is one, and it battles four different ways. And in fact, you got a glimpse there of Emerson Fittipaldi as he moves into the fight as well. And Al Unser Jr. And Michael Andretti comes into the pits, Gary, finally.
I'll tell you, all the good luck this team has enjoyed, winning 3 of the last 4 and going right out the window in the last 4 minutes. And you talk about one red-hot race driver. We heard some of the radio conversation. He is smoking in the pits. He's out of here in 13.7 seconds, but the damage is done.
Yeah, and probably deservedly smoking. He put on a good show coming up to 11th place after the trouble early. He maintains the 60-mile-an-hour speed limit out of the pits and rejoins the fray, but well behind the fight now. He drops off immediately 2 positions as he comes out of the pits, dropping back to 13th. Maybe the fact of lap cars will work to his advantage now, but he could have been back on the lap with the leader. There's Zanardi, a lead just under 2 seconds, 1.7.
Well, you can tell he's really got a well-handling car right now. Just the way he pulled away. You see all the field just pretty much lined up there equally, all nice spaced out. And he's got about a 2-second lead on the second place guy. That, I know he got a jump at the restart, but that's also a great handling car right now.
Al Unser Jr. now beginning to work on Bobby Rahal. That fight is for 4th. And a good line of competitors just behind. Hoping maybe that one of the 2 of them make a mistake. It's Fittipaldi, then Ribeiro, then Johnstone, then Mark Blundell, and then Robbie Gordon. And they're all lined up nose to tail now.
Don't forget, Al Jr. is thinking a lot about points right now because he's right there, not that close to Jimmy Vasser, but close enough. And Jimmy Vasser is way behind and not much chance of scoring any points. So Al wants to make sure he gets some points.
Jimmy Vasser sits back 18th, 6 positions away from a point scoring position. Just had a quick off and on the course. He's back in competition though. And there is the interval from the leader back to Gil de Ferran, and then Christian Fittipaldi, Bobby Rahal, Al Unser Jr., and Emerson Fittipaldi. 70 laps are complete, and Zanardi looks like he may be on his way to a win. We'll be back after these messages and a word from our ABC stations.
I get here early to stock up on Texaco Haviland Formula 3 motor oil because it gives my engine complete protection.
Me too.
Michael Andretti.
Texaco Haviland Formula 3 is formulated to control volatility and fight vaporization. And it's the same oil used by championship racing teams.
Empty.
Tough track, huh?
Take it to the stars.
Get a Dream Team basketball with a 12-quart Haviland Formula 3 or 6-quart Haviland Synthetic purchase.
Finding oneself alone in this world can be terrifying.
Poor thing, you must have fallen out.
I knew I must return him to his family to ensure he's consumed at optimum freshness.
I don't see him, do you? Excuse me, he's lost. Lost beer coming through. See him? We'll find him any minute. I can feel it. Excuse me. Don't give up.
Hey, who's missing a bottle? Got a lost bottle here.
Budweiser. Brewery fresh taste. Strictly enforced.
Don't worry, little fella. We'll find him.
Accept no substitutes. There's only one Superman. Lois and Clark, ABC Sundays.
ABC Wednesday.
Hey, we almost forgot Grace's present.
Okay, but when you move your hand, you better have your pants on, y'all.
It's Grace's dream come true. Ta-da! A room of her own on Grace. Then, a world premiere comedy that's smoking.